Good morning. It is the 11th of June. We had CPI, which is one of the main economic inflation numbers this morning. The numbers came in about a tenth lower than they had been the last reporting period, so not a huge improvement, but not negative. So here was our news at 7:30, and this is an absolutely classic 7:30 news event pattern. This is probably 70–80% of the time when you get news at 7:30, the market shoots up or down. It can go either way, obviously, and you get a rejection, and then this thing just chops around. Um, Now, I had a purple line here drawn, and the reason that line is here, and it was here as soon as this bar formed, is that is the 50% level between the bottom of this bar and the top of the wick of this bar. That is the 50% level, and that is typically where price will return to. Uh, Ultimately, our balance point now becomes here because we had a flood of buy orders here. So the market makers have to take all those buy orders. That's why they're market makers. So in order to get themselves back to delta neutral, it simply means they are neither long nor short, because every time they fill a buy order, they are essentially going short. Okay, every buy order has to have a sell order. Every sell order has to have a buy order. So who's taking the sell side of this? Well, who would buy? Who would be selling into this? Well, nobody. No, you know, the market makers. That's what they have to do. Um, so that's why that looks like that. Now we've come back to the 50% level. At some point, the market has to come back down here so the market makers can get even, get back to delta neutral. It doesn't have to be, in the next 10 minutes. It doesn't have to be in the next week or 10 days, but it will happen at some point. So the problem we have now is we've gone up, we've come back to the middle, and there's absolutely no way to know. So it's literally a 50-50 coin toss as to where we go when the market opens here at 8:30. I don't, you know, CPI days, while the market can move some if the news is really good or bad, are typically not great days for me to trade. If you look historically at my performance, I've had some really bad days trading CPI because you get it in your head that the market should do this or that, and it does not. So we are 2 minutes from the open. We're going to have to see some type of a failure. What I'd like to see this morning is a pullback down to here with some rejection, multiple rejection bars, and then start to look like it wants to press up. If it just starts down and keeps going down, I probably would not be interested in that unless we get some kind of little pull down here and we get a pull back up to the moving average or something. But right now, we are above the moving average on 15-minute, above the moving average on 5 minute, and we're sitting on top of the moving average. But when you have a direct, a straight line of chop like this, uh, typically what you want to keep in mind is the last big move was up. So these periods of consolidation generally resolve to the direction that the previous big move was. So we would expect this at some point to move on up. So another thing to remember is it's got to go back up here too. Okay, this becomes the point. The top of this wick becomes a point that the market has to go back to for the same reason, uh, because the market makers were probably aggressively uh, moving into this area, so they're starting to take positions to offset the buying, and then the buying stops. Well, now those positions have to be offset, so you will see price come back up a lot of times, almost to the penny of these wicks like this. Um, Beyond that, where it goes after that, it may go up there and keep going, or it may go up there and come back down, but it will have to go back up there. And usually you'll get a little rejection off of that when it gets back up to that level. So I wish I had some information to tell you what's going to happen. But it looks like we're going to move down, at least for now. Let's see. Well, this may just be a little quick move down, and we may move up. So we'll see. Change my order type to 10 points. what happens here. I'm not super interested in buying this unless we were to get multiple rejection candles here. Yeah, I'm not liking this at all. I'm going to push this up right to the bottom of this candle so that if it fails, it did. So it was a little small loss there. Now we're going to have to be patient and let this thing jive out. That was our one chance at maybe trying to move up. Now we're most likely going to move down, or we can just sit here and continue to chop sideways. Another rejection. Another way to trade these consolidation areas is to put you an order above it, something that looks like that, where it has to break to a new high before it fills. And sometimes that's a good way to go with consolidation. What you don't want to do is try to guess what's going to happen. Right now, we're obviously going to push down here. We're going to push down to the bottom of this bar. There would be no reason for it to stop anywhere else in here. We'll see if we get a reversal here that maybe we could short into, but I don't think so. It looks like we're going to go straight down. You also don't ever want to try to interpret the numbers. Okay, whatever the number is, whatever the economic news is, you don't know what the market was looking for. 0.1 reduction in inflation may seem like a positive thing, but the market may have been looking for much more than that, and it may deem this as the worst news ever. So don't ever interpret the news yourself. Just let the market, watch the market move, and let the market tell you, you know, how important that news is or isn't. We have not made it down to where we need to go yet. I might sell into this if we get. Never mind. That was my might sell right there. I had my hand on the button, but I couldn't get there fast enough. If this is going to come down and reject, you should start seeing some buyers come in before it gets here. It should not just come down and then go straight back up. You should start to see some buying coming in, which is kind of what we're seeing here with these rejection wicks. But at this point, the only thing we can do is we're under the moving average now on 2 of the 3 time frames. So I can't do anything here but go short. I'd like to see this push on down. No, it's not gonna. Well, there's 2 losing trades in a row. See what happens here. We may take one more shot at this. Yeah, we've taken some small losses here, but not too bad a shape. Still haven't gotten there. If I had just stuck with my short order there, I would have been fine. This thing can continue to go down all day. It doesn't ever have to go up. It looks like we're getting some buyers coming in as we approach this balance point, but really, I should not have taken that last trade. The short was a valid trade, but you can't go long into this because you don't know where the bottom's going to be. But there's our bottom there, probably. You look at our volume bars, we've not had but one green volume bar. All the rest of these have been negative. So this one will probably end up being green, but there's no way to know. Okay, close that out. Probably going to push on back down now. We may try buying this balance point trade here if we get down here. One of those days where even when I'm right, I'm not able to make any money. So market just not doing a whole lot. All right, we're going to go. We're going to make a commitment here and either make some money or we're going to lose some money today. We're going to let this push on up. We're either going to make money or lose money. We're going to let this push up. Yeah, I'm trying to get. Well, we're taking some little bitty losses. Uh, this should push on down. All right, guys, we're going to have to call it a day. This is just, man, the market's just chopping around. I can't make any money this way. So I've lost a little bit of money, about $500 per account. Not a big deal. We'll come back, give it a shot tomorrow. This is just trading, man. CPI days can be tough. So sometimes the best trade is not to trade at all.